Hey, what's up, Calgary? I'm Kevin Chorney. It's May 8th, and this is Calgary Now. Calgarians, like most North Americans, are used to living in a decent-sized bungalow with a two-car garage and an expansive backyard. This North American standard has allowed for sprawling cities, and in major centers, the high cost of homes is making it difficult for many to find affordable housing. To combat the rising cost of maintaining a roof over their heads, some families are rethinking the 1,000-plus square feet standard and turning to tiny homes, typically under 800 square feet, making complete use of the space available and pared down to the basics. The tiny home movement is also being observed in the embrace of laneway housing. A lane house is a small cottage-like living structure in place of a garage or a carport, one that can be used by extended family members or rented out to supplement the homeowner's income. The City of Vancouver has been at the forefront of laneway homes, making it easier for homeowners to build on their property. Meanwhile, in Calgary, there will be a pilot project in the community of Sunnyside in the near future. So, are laneway housing and tiny homes a solution to affordable housing and reducing the financial and environmental cost of large homes? Generally speaking, we're spoiled in Calgary with regards to our large dwellings. Many of us, if push came to shove, could downsize our living spaces substantially and still live comfortably. In fact, if you want to live in the more urban areas of our city, it's a given you'll likely have a smaller home than your suburbanite neighbors. With Calgary's super low rental vacancy and inflated rental rates, just how small of a dwelling are people willing to call home? And how will an influx of laneway housing affect our urban communities? My guests and I are all set to discuss. Get at us on Twitter at Calgary Now Show and give us your thoughts. Stay with us.
Shaw TV is your local voice, bringing local events, information, and entertainment to your community. Shaw TV welcomes story ideas and proposals for shows or series that represent local viewpoints and activities. These shows or series can be an idea or already produced. For information on how to submit a proposal, please visit us at shawtv.com.
Hey Calgary, thanks for joining us. Tonight we have Kirsten Shaw from Turtle Island Tiny Homes and Matthew Kennedy, co-founder of Studio North, a design firm in Kensington. Thank you both a lot for being here, guys. Real quick, I'll start with you, Kirsten. Tell me about yourself and your involvement with Turtle Island Tiny Homes.
Well, Turtle Island Tiny Homes is a company that my husband and I put together. We found tiny homes probably about 2 years ago now, and it seemed to be a really good fix for us, for what we wanted, to be a little bit more mobile, not have such a huge monthly housing expense. But the background on my husband is that he's been building homes for about 30 years. And so he had the skills necessary to build them for other people. Yeah. So it was kind of a really good fit, something that we could also do as a business and make some money while we're having fun.
Isn't that the best way to make money while you're having fun? Good for you. That's great. Thanks for being here. Hey? Now, Matthew, tell me about, well, Studio North. What do you do there?
So Studio North, we're a small design practice in Calgary. We're fairly new. We're only a year and a half old. But it's myself and my collaborator, Mark Erickson. And we just expanded with an intern, Damon Hayes-Couture.
Cool. Shout out to Damon. Nice.
Yeah. He's doing a great job. I've graduated from Dalhousie University. Well, we all did architecture program. Okay. And I spent the last year studying laneway housing in Calgary and trying to develop a typology for laneway, for a backyard house or a backyard dwelling.
Sure, a lot of vacant space available. Put it to use, it sounds like.
Exactly, and I think the reason why we found it such an exciting proposition is that Calgary is this, young and emerging city, and we have a really progressive mayor, and there's lots of ideas, and it's attracting people from all over the world who are young and educated to want to live in Calgary. And the idea of a laneway house, it allows for the existing communities to adapt to what the younger generation needs or wants, and that's to live closer to where we work and
to the core,
and
to
the
where things are going on. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And for a lot of people, frankly, it's out of reach right now in Calgary. I want to talk a little bit more about that. Kirsten, I got to know more though about a tiny home. So what exactly is a tiny home? Is this a static structure? Is it a mobile unit? Both?
So it's generally a trailer. You build
Okay.
it on a trailer deck.
Yeah.
And it's, for lack of a better term, it's just a glorified RV, but it looks like a nice little home.
Cool.
One thing that most RVs don't is they don't take advantage of the height, because road regulations say you can actually do 13 feet 6 inches tall, and most RVs don't do that. So this is a way to maximize the space. So from the ground you can do 13.6, which gives
Gotcha.
you at least one sleeping loft, and very often people will do a second loft on the other end of the house, storage or another little sleeping area.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
So they're going to be used within city limits? Like, this isn't something you tow out to go camping per se. This is something that you live in the city.
Sure, you could tow it out to go camping
Okay.
if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the year, you can have it in your backyard. One of the biggest questions that we have always, the very first contact that we get from people is, where do I park it? So we did a little bit of investigating. My husband called the city a few weeks ago and did some research, and basically you're allowed to have an RV and you're allowed to park it on your property. And from our research, what we can see, there's nothing that says that you can't live in it. So then you think, okay, well, be responsible, be respectful. You don't have big loud parties, loud comings and goings.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you don't alert the neighbors that there's, and so, maybe it's a bit of a don't ask, don't tell situation, right?
So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, so otherwise, there's, lots of opportunities for just on the outskirts of the city.
Yeah.
We've had a few people that have land that have said to us, we would really like to have a tiny home community, so you can send people our way.
Is that so?
Yeah,
I wonder if that would be like a rental income type property for that.
it absolutely could be.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, as far as plumbing, electricity, now does it need to tie into this current structure? I guess the same, I guess a home, if it's going to be sharing a lot with a home, for example, or is it fully independent? Does it run off propane? How does that all work?
It can actually be either,
Okay.
and somewhere in between. So you can be completely off-grid with solar panels and a battery bank and water storage and the whole 9 yards.
Cool.
Or you can have it completely 100% what's called shore power, where it would have to be, plugged into electricity and have, a garden hose stretched out or something like that.
Okay.
Or you could be in the middle. So you could be so that you can be on the road and traveling and be off-grid, say in a camping type situation. And then when
Yeah.
it's parked for the majority of the time,
Right.
you can definitely plug it into the house.
That's cool. That's smart. Really,
Yeah.
well, it's a lot of variety. It sounds
Yeah.
like they're definitely kind of something for everybody, is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Matthew, now you actually wrote your thesis on laneway housing. To me, that's super unique. What was your? I mean, you mentioned before, it's a younger city, it's a progressive city. What for you is kind of the end game when it comes to laneway housing? You must have a lot of passion for it.
I wasn't just trying to find a place to live in my parents' basement or backyard. The backyard was looking better than the basement, let's say that.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down to, I see all over the world different compact forms of living.
Yeah.
And Calgary is my home, but it kind of has this all stigmas attached to it. Calgary has the largest landmass per capita than any other city in Canada, like comparable to cities like Denver. And for me, I just feel like as an environmentalist and as a designer, I feel like Calgary can work harder.
Could do better. Could do better.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this huge footprint. Suburbia is essentially, let's be honest, sprawl is a huge issue in Calgary. We'll talk a little bit more of that as well after the break, folks. We will be right back. Stay with us.